Jom. Ya, kejap lagi kau kata kat dia, aku tengah ada webinar ni. Lepas dalam tengah hari tu pergi situ. Dan I need you to follow up. hmm. Sekejap ya. Ya. These are the people yang kita kena follow up. Mana yang dah settle tu kita cross off je lah. Yang ni tak payahlah. Dua ni, orang masa lah.
Sekarang pun malam saya contact dia tanya tak tengah version lah apa awal. Ni first come first serve lah tinggal.
Ya.
Dia,
So kita sekarang ni dah ada 6 dah kan. I think security insyaAllah 7 ni. Yang ni tak payahlah buang masa lah. Ni. My Crypto, Vigilant, Connect. And insyaAllah dengan ni.
ni dia nak minta informasi.
Siapa? Group OS.
Yeah.
So yang ni dah okey dah kan? Kalau yang ni 6, so yang ni dah 7 lah kan? So kita follow up yang ini je lah.
4 lagi.
Ini pulang lah.
Tak semua. I akan inform you yang mana tak mana kan. Sebab ini because audience dia PBT. Dia bukan audience international kan. Itu satu. Yang kedua, Assalamualaikum, Tok.
Waalaikumsalam. Tahniah.
Hai,
Fatin.
tahniah. Sama-sama tahniah lah. Sihat?
Ya, Alhamdulillah. So, bila graduation semalam?
Semalam.
Proud of parents and father.
Alhamdulillah. So, ada travel lagi ke?
Baru balik daripada Dubai
Ya ke?
dalam quarantine. So, today,
Oh.
ni kat rumah ni.
Oh. Dia 5 hari ke? Quarantine.
5 hari. Buat booster lah. Those without booster kena 7 hari.
Oh, without booster 7 days Booster apa? Pfizer?
Pfizer. So far memang semua Pfizer lah.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. All Pfizer. Oh, power tu. Saya Sinovac 1 and 2. Bila Pfizer, terus pensan. Serius. Bila ambil booster Pfizer, 2 hari down.
Tapi banyak kes even Pfizer pun masa ambil mula-mula pun memang
Ya, betul.
first
My wife.
and second dose tu dia agak ni sikit. Tapi bila booster dah okey.
My wife yang first round tu memang dia teruk lah. Pfizer.
Dia demam sikit.
Fatin, you punya muka gelap Fatin. Tak nampak lah.
Because tadi pun yang cakap Jok pasal dia punya kamera, laptop kamera dia macam tu.
Oh. Kena beli yang baru sikit, yang canggih sikit lah.
Tak, dah beli. Dia belum transfer je.
Kita ada berapa participant, Ansha?
Okay. Registered about 135. Tapi yang sekarang masuk about 45. Yeah. Tapi kita recording this, we will publish dekat YouTube, kemudian MYSCC page jugalah dengan MSCA page.
Okay.
I have to leave after before 10:30 betul?
InsyaAllah tak ada masalah. No problem.
Dengan
Understood.
Microsoft.
Understood. Me too. I might not join throughout. I just deliver my remarks, and then after you left also, I also will left.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, Fatin.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for today. Please make yourself comfortable and we will begin shortly. Thank you. Aku. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera, ladies and gentlemen. Yang berbahagia Datuk TS Dr. Haji Amaruddin Abdul Wahab, Chief Executive Officer Cybersecurity Malaysia. Yang berusaha Dr. Raslan Ahmad, Chairman of Malaysia Smart Cities Alliance Association and Senior Vice President of MIT. Distinguished guest speakers and our honorable participants. It is our pleasure to welcome you here to the sharing session on cybersecurity for smart cities on WebEx. My name is Fatin Asmida and I will be your host for this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope this session will worth of your time. If you have any question during this session, please type it into the chat box at your right of WebEx screen, and our secretariat and speakers will address it. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we would like to invite Yang Berusaha Dr. Raslan Ahmad, Chairman of Malaysia Smart Cities Alliance Association, MSCA, and Senior Vice President of MIT to deliver a welcoming remark. Please welcome, Doc.
Terima kasih Datin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Datuk TS Haji Amaruddin Abdul Wahab, CEO Cybersecurity Malaysia, Ahli Malaysia Smart City Alliance Association, yang berbahagia Datuk-Datuk, Datin, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan serta hadirin sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, bersyukur kita kepada Ilahi kerana dapat bersama-sama hadir dalam sesi perkongsian berkenaan keselamatan cyber untuk bandar pintar. Program kerjasama di antara Cybersecurity Malaysia, MIT dan Malaysia Smart City Alliance buat julung kalinya. Terlebih dahulu, saya ingin mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih pada pihak Cybersecurity Malaysia kerana sudi bekerjasama dengan MIT dan juga MSCA bagi mengadakan program pagi ini. Terima kasih juga kepada semua peserta dari pelbagai wakil dari pelbagai sektor ataupun daripada organisasi yang dapat meluangkan masa pada pagi ini. Sebelum kita memulakan sesi pagi ini, izinkan saya mengambil kesempatan memberi sedikit taklimat ataupun memberi sedikit maklumat berkaitan dengan salah satu penganjur pada sesi program hari ini, iaitu Malaysia Smart City Alliance Association ataupun MSCA. MSCA ditubuhkan dan dilancarkan pada 13 Februari 2018 sempena World Urban Forum 9 yang dianjurkan oleh Kerajaan Malaysia. Tujuan MSCA adalah untuk menyediakan platform bagi ahli bertukar maklumat, pandangan dan fikiran berkaitan pembangunan bandar pintar. Kita telah pun didaftarkan pada 19 Jun tahun lepas dan kita telah mengadakan mesyuarat agung pertama pada 1 Oktober 2021. Buat masa ini kita ada 30 ahli yang mewakili daripada pelbagai organisasi di sektor awam, swasta dan juga akademia. Tujuan kita menubuhkan MSCA adalah pertamanya menyediakan platform pada semua ahli untuk bertukar pandangan dan juga berbincang dan juga beri input dalam aspek pembangunan bandar pintar. Khususnya kepada rakan-rakan daripada sektor swasta, mereka perlukan platform yang boleh menyatukan agenda bersama bagi menyokong hasrat pemegang taruh yang lain. Yang kedua, kita ingin menyediakan aspek pengukuran indikator bagi pelaksanaan bandar pintar di negara ini. So dengan melalui platform Alliance ni kita berhasrat kita dapat boleh bekerjasama dengan pelbagai pemegang taruh bagi melihat bagaimanakah kita boleh memajukan pembangunan dan pelaksanaan bandar pintar di semua peringkat lah di negara ini. Kita juga menjadikan platform ini sebagai ruang memberi kesempatan kepada ahli untuk akses kepada market dan juga memperkenalkan penyesuaian teknologi dan juga kita melihat apakah ruang-ruang bagi kita untuk melihat alternatif financial support bagi pelaksanaan bandar pintar dan sebagainya. Dan akhirnya kita melalui platform Alliance ni kita akan menyediakan pengkalan data di mana maklumat terkini berkaitan dengan perancangan pelaksanaan bandar pintar bukan hanya di negara kita tetapi juga di peringkat global dapat kita sediakan yang akan akhirnya diakses oleh semua pemegang taruh lah, termasuk ahli-ahli Alliance dan juga PBT dan sebagainya. Salah satu fokus MSCA adalah berkaitan dengan keselamatan cyber. Alhamdulillah saya dapat bertemu dengan Cybersecurity Malaysia. Terima kasih Datuk kerana memberi respon yang baik terhadap cadangan kita untuk bekerja sama. Seperti yang Datuk nyatakan, keselamatan cyber adalah merupakan elemen kritikal dalam kita melaksanakan pembangunan bandar pintar di negara ini. Apa artinya pembangunan pintar jika keselamatan cyber tidak diberi keutamaan? So untuk itu kita di MSCA, MIC dan sebagainya melihat elemen keselamatan cyber adalah merupakan elemen kritikal dalam pelaksanaan bandar pintar, bukan sahaja dalam aspek perancangan fizikal, malah ia amat penting dalam memastikan penghuni bandar berasa selesa, selamat dan terkawal. Kefahaman dan kesedaran mengenai kepentingan keselamatan cyber ini perlu dipupuk, perlu diterjemahkan, bukan hanya dalam konteks retoriknya buzzword, tetapi yang lebih utama kita dapat melaksanakan secara komprehensif, secara yang lebih sistematik dan melibatkan semua peringkat pemegang taruh dan juga beneficiaries dan juga user side lah. Sehubungan dengan itu kami di MIC dan juga MSCA mengambil langkah untuk mengadakan siri program kesedaran keselamatan cyber bertujuan untuk meningkatkan kefahaman dan juga meningkatkan juga kesedaran di kalangan semua mereka yang terlibat dalam pembangunan bandar pintar di negara ini. Kita bertuah kerana pagi ini kita ada pakar-pakar daripada Cybersecurity Malaysia yang akan memberikan maklumat lanjut berkaitan dengan keselamatan cyber, bagaimana ia penting dalam konteks pembangunan pelaksanaan bandar pintar di semua peringkat, bukan hanya di peringkat negara, bukan hanya di peringkat negeri, tetapi khususnya di peringkat kerjaan tempatan ataupun PBT. Untuk makluman hadirin sekalian, salah satu inisiatif MIC dan juga MSCA yang terkini adalah menumbuhkan dan mewujudkan jawatan kuasa standard keselamatan cyber dengan kerjasama Standard Malaysia di bawah National Standard Committee on Smart City. Terdapat dua jawatan kuasa teknikal telah ditubuhkan, iaitu TC Smart City nombor 1 fokus pada Smart City Indicator dan TC Smart City nombor 2 fokus pada ICT Infrastructure. Kami maklum-alukan penyertaan tuan-tuan puan dalam aktiviti kedua-dua TC ini. Jika tuan-tuan ingin memerlukan maklumat lanjut, sila hubungi pihak urus setia pada hari ini bagaimanakah untuk terus serta dalam aktiviti-aktiviti technical committee yang telah ditubuhkan ini, yang masing-masing dipengusikan oleh pihak Plan Malaysia bagi Smart City Indicator dan oleh MCMC bagi ICT Infrastructure. Kita percaya penyertaan tuan-tuan dan perempuan dalam aktiviti-aktiviti sebegini adalah kritikal kerana kitalah penentu hala tuju dan juga memastikan pelaksanaannya nanti. Kerana kalau ada standard ke ataupun ada tool ke dan sebagainya, jika ia tidak digunakan pakai, tidak dilaksanakan ataupun dikawal selia, ianya tidak mempunyai makna. Di samping itu juga untuk makluman tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, bagi memastikan keselamatan cyber terus menjadi agenda utama dalam pembangunan bandar pintar, kami di peringkat Smart City Alliance ni dan juga MIC buat masa kini sedang berusaha untuk membantu pihak kerajaan negeri dan juga beberapa PBT bagi merealisasikan agenda keselamatan cyber bandar pintar ini menjadi agenda utama bagi pihak yang berkenaan. Sebagai contoh, buat masa ini kami membantu dua kerajaan negeri yang telah meminta bantuan MIC dan juga MSCA, iaitu Kerajaan Negeri Melaka dan juga Kerajaan Negeri Perak. Untuk makluman tuan-tuan, dan bagi Kerajaan Negeri Melaka di bawah Smart Melaka Blueprint 2035, kita memang telah pun memasukkan elemen keselamatan cyber sebagai tumpuan khusus dan pelan tindakan dan juga program dan projek telah dikenal pasti dan telah diberi pertimbangan yang sewajarnya oleh pihak pemegang taruh dalam kita mengubal Smart Melaka Blueprint 2035. Begitu juga di Perak, bila kita membantu kerajaan negeri mewujudkan apa yang dipanggil Perak Lestari 2030 yang telah pun dibentangkan, telah diperlakukan oleh mesyuarat kerajaan negeri Perak baru-baru ini. Elemen keselamatan cyber dalam menyokong pembangunan Lestari Perak 2030 adalah satu elemen yang perlu dipastikan dilaksanakan secara berterusan dan bersistematik. So, bagi pihak MIC Malaysia Smart City Airline Association, kami amat berterima kasih kepada semua rakan-rakan dan penyertaan tuan-tuan pada hari ini dan sesi perkongsian ini adalah kritikal dan kami ingin mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih kerana pihak tuan-tuan dapat meluangkan masa dalam sesi perkongsian pada hari ini dan kita look forward to have further collaboration in this particular agenda lah, khususnya dalam keselamatan cyber dan pembangunan badan kita. Sekali lagi bagi pihak MIC dan MSCA, kita mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih. Semoga sesi pada pagi ini memberi manfaat yang mendalam kepada semua dan kita look forward to have further engagement. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sekian, terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Raslan Ahmad, for an informative remarks. Now, it is our pleasure to invite Yang Berbahagia, Datuk TS Dr. Haji Amaruddin Abdul Wahab, Chief Executive Officer of Cybersecurity Malaysia, to deliver an opening remark. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Puan Fatin, our moderator for today. Yang Berusaha Dr. Raslan Ahmad, Chairman, Malaysia Smart Cities Alliance Association, MSCA, and also Senior Vice President of MIC. Distinguished guests, members of MSCA, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. It is an honor for me to be here with all of you today at the webinar sharing session on cybersecurity for smart cities. My commendation goes to the organizing committee for this momentous event to explore cybersecurity as the key enabler for trusted smart cities alongside the rising trend of cyber attacks and concerns involving smart cities development. Ladies and gentlemen, according to IHS Technology Report, by the year 2025, the number of smart cities worldwide will quadruple, with an estimation of at least 88 smart cities all over the world by 2025, in which 32 in Asia Pacific, 31 in Europe, and 25 in America. Smart cities utilize technological advancement to transform towards sustainable and secure urban environment. Yet, as they are highly interconnected, its digital infrastructure increases in complexity and eventually become more vulnerable to cyber attacks. The Smart City Handbook by the Kementerian Perumahan dan Kerajaan Tempatan KPKT stated approximately 100 smart city projects are inventoried across Malaysia. In today's digital age, almost every device is interconnected and internet accessible. Also, technologies are now converging one another, which means one technology can comprise or converge with two or more technologies. So while digital technology optimize productivity, enhance efficiencies, reduce costs, and boost production, goods, services, and innovation, the drawback of cybersecurity is actually alarming. As cities are highly advanced, cyber attackers evolve diligently. Most smart cities cyber ecosystems develop through convergence of cyber systems and operational systems with a myriad of devices and sensors at the edge. A massive gap between legacy and the new age digital technologies, disparate technology platforms. Without consistent security policies and procedures to govern this operational framework, the entire ecosystem is actually exposed to unknown security vulnerabilities. Cyber criminals' approach today are intensive. They utilize sophisticated tools and techniques such as social engineering, phishing, scam, advanced persistent threat, and ransomware attack for financial gain, espionage, data and identity theft, and activism. We need to understand that no country or organizations in the world is immune or safe from cyber threats and attacks. Traditional security is no longer sufficient, and the risk goes beyond traditional threat environment. As technology rapidly change and revolutionize, so do the criminals. We live in a world reliant on technology, and this technology is vulnerable if it is not designed with security in mind. Cybersecurity is not an option. It must be formed as part of the design in all devices, applications, hardware, as well as software where data is stored. With the growth of information technology in cities, it is imperative to implement advanced management approaches via latest technologies and platforms to enhance urban services. Smart cities are advanced integration of information and communication technologies. By connecting and integrating systems, eventually attacks and vulnerabilities increase, risking digital citizens' privacy. Therefore, it is critical to provide solutions focusing on sustainable cyber security and risk reduction strategies. As the National Cybersecurity Specialist and Technical Agency, Cybersecurity Malaysia is responsible to implement vulnerability assessment and penetration testing (VAPT) services on one of the smart city in Malaysia, which covers smart city security testing. The main objective of VAPT is to identify any potential weaknesses in implementing smart city development, expose cybersecurity threats, and highlight its impacts on users, and enlighten all parties' responsibilities to overcome these cybersecurity threats. Cybersecurity Malaysia is mandated to reduce vulnerability of digital systems while simultaneously strengthen Malaysia's self-reliance in cyberspace. Hence, when tackling evolving digital threats, our only option is to continually advance our security strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I hope this webinar will be informative to all of us. Take this opportunity to expand the network and exchange ideas for the betterment of our cybersecurity. And thanks again to Malaysia Smart Cities Alliance Association, MSCA, as the organizer, and also to all participants for the attendance today. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Datuk TS Dr. Amirul, for your enlightening speech. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you have any question during this session, please type it into the chat box. We will be happy to respond to your question. Now, we are moving to the sharing session. Allow me to introduce our first guest speaker. Mr. Nohamadi is a senior security analyst working in the Department of MyVac, Cybersecurity Malaysia. His core duties in MyVac are to perform vulnerability assessment and project management. He has managed a few collaboration projects with the local universities in the area of industrial control system security. Before joining Cybersecurity Malaysia in 2014, he has been working for more than 20 years in the local ICT industry. Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Nur Hamadi Jaafar, Senior Executive MyVac Department, Cybersecurity Malaysia, to share on cybersecurity for smart cities. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum, selamat sejahtera dan selamat pagi everyone. Thank you for attending this presentation this morning. And as introduced, my name is Nur Hamadi Jaafar. I've been working in Cybersecurity Malaysia for 7 or 8 years now. I joined in 2014, and as introduced, my core duties in department is to form, as like what Dr. Amiruddin mentioned, a process we call BEP in Cybersecurity Malaysia, which is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, which is known in industry as pen test. And apart from that, I've been doing a couple of projects in industrial control systems, especially in the oil industry and the transmission of electrical in our country. And currently, I'm holding the certified ethical hacker certification and also the ICS professional from GIAC. To set your expectations right, actually this presentation is by no means a comprehensive coverage of the very large, very huge subject of smart city and cybersecurity, but rather the purpose of my presentation this morning is actually to create awareness and maybe raise a little bit of awareness among us in terms of the importance of cybersecurity in our future smart cities. Okay, it's a bit small, sorry. Where's my glass? Okay, my first slide. According to Ministry of Housing and Local Government, PBT, our Malaysian urban population is projected to increase from 76% in 2018 to 82% in 2030. What this means is that 78% in 2018 alone, 78% of the Malaysia's population is actually residing in the urban area, in the city. And it is projected to increase by another maybe 12% in the coming year of 2030, and a lot more in 2050. That projected around 87% of our total population residing in. You can imagine the massive population will be in the cities of our future. With this increase or overpopulation of citizens in the cities, there bound to be actually a lot of issues and problems, such as this is taken directly from our PBT handbook: congestion, pollution, vandalism, and also, of course, inefficient deployment of urban services. So, what is the problem for this phenomena? And we understand that this phenomena is not only happening in Asia, as Dato mentioned. This is actually happening all over the world. And so the solution that has been thought about smart city. And that smart city is actually, we hope that our smart city of the future will be able to resolve the challenges of our cities, such as the climate change, health issues, and also resource depletion, poverty, and also waste management. And I've taken this number of projects. Maybe not many of us are aware of the actual projects that are actually running underway in our states. And I've listed here about 8, the most prominent one. And I can mention about 2, which CSM has been also invited to give our input to their projects. For example, smart meter in Melaka, whereby they have installed more or less about 1,000 smart meters in one area, one residential area. And then actually the purpose of this project is actually under Tenaga Nasional Berhad. And the actual purpose is actually to smartly monitor the usage of each and every household. And eventually that power of managing the electricity in the household belongs to the owner or the tenants of the house. That is one of the main reasons for that for the project in Melaka. And the other one is Smart Selangor, and the stakeholders of Smart Selangor had also approached us since they want to create a team of cybersecurity professionals that can eventually be managing the infrastructure and the facility of the future Smart Selangor. Okay, next. Okay, this is the list I've taken from the booklet, and we can actually see the list is a long list, and some of them we can actually easily recognize. For example, this is under the national effort. One of them is the okay. Now better. Okay, can we go back to the slide before, Fatin? Okay. For example, I don't think we realize that actually Touch and Go e-wallet and the Grab Pay is actually listed under national effort or national initiative of Smart City. So we can take a look. I think here alone there are about 100 projects listed under each, a total, and then we can go one by one, looking at what are the projects which are currently undergoing in all states. For example, this one, Touch and Go e-wallet and Grab Pay, is our national project. And next, please. And yes, as I've mentioned, Smart Selangor also initiating a great effort to converting Selangor to be a smart city of the future. Next. And Melaka, as I mentioned, Smart Grid. Smart Grid is part of the Smart Meter is also part of the Smart Grid effort by TNP. And if you look at Kota Kinabalu, Smart Water Electronic Meter is there for our infrastructure. Penang, Penang Digital Library. Next. And in Kuching, digitization of water utility. And in Iskandar, Malaysia, so the Ibrahim Solar Park. So next. Kulim and other cities. So as a conclusion, we can see that the government is very serious into preparing ourselves and moving toward converting our cities to become smart in the near future. And one of the things that becomes a problem is smart next slide. And okay, let's briefly take a look what are the framework of the smart city for Malaysia. We have listed 7 pillars for our smart city work. Number 1 is the smart economy. 2 is the smart people. Number 3 is the environment. And then the smart living, smart government, mobility, and of course the digital infrastructure. Digital infrastructure is key in supporting all these pillars, because smart city of the future is actually very reliant, very dependent on technology. Next. As we mentioned earlier, our smart city will be heavily dependent on all the technologies. For example, 5G, the cloud computing, Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, Wi-Fi technology, blockchains, and the coming of other technologies that we have not heard of yet. So because of these technologies, because our city is very reliant on technologies, actually the foundation is built on this. These technologies by nature is actually also reliant on other technologies, like the Wi-Fi is dependent on 5G, for example. And because of the interconnectedness and because of these dependencies among each other, between each other, the problem of security has become very, very big, or very, very huge, because the attack landscape will become huge. Next. Simplify. If we were to simplify that picture before, we can actually divide the ecosystem into smart city ecosystem into 4 basic layers. Layer number 1 is the cyber physical layer, where we start interfacing the digital world. And layer number 2 is the communication between our gadgets and our interfaces to the world and to the purpose, and to the layer 3, which is the application layer. And layer number 4 is where the brains or the analytics is going on. So by actually splitting these layers into distinct, we can see that actually the attack surface, if there's going to be an attack from outside, the attack this is very good. Start from layer 1 and enter into our ecosystem from layer 2, layer 3, or even layer 4. So it is an advantage if we can see the ecosystem in terms of these layers, so that we can actually pinpoint or can minimize the focus into that area, that problematic area. Okay, next please. And what about information security? We nowadays the term information security and cybersecurity has been used interchangeably. Sometimes we don't realize that we mean information security, but we are using the term cybersecurity. We need to remember that cybersecurity is actually a subset of information security. And information security also takes care of not only the security of our cyberspace, but outside the cyberspace, for example, of our application, our document outside, and our backup, or even our physical security. So we need to remember that cybersecurity is a subset of information security, a bigger picture. and taking care of cybersecurity alone is not enough. So we need to take care of both. We need to take care of cybersecurity and as well as information security. So cybersecurity may be, simply put, we are focusing in the cyber realm, cyber world, where attacks and events are happening. Okay, next. The National Institute Standard of Technologies, National Institute Standards and Technology USA, has actually produced this cybersecurity framework, which has become effective and wide. And for someone who is very interested, for someone who is interested in knowing cybersecurity, I think this framework is very reference. And they have actually divided the framework into 5 distinct pillars, which is identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. NIST, or the short form for National Institute of Standards and Technology, is NIST. NIST has produced a lot of documentation, they have produced a lot of work under this framework, and I recommend that anybody who is interested in cybersecurity to look up this documentation and actually study them. And this can be good as a first step to enforcing cybersecurity in our future cities. This would be the foundation, if you like. Okay, thanks. Next. Okay, the rising trend of cyber attack in smart cities. I don't have to mention, because attacks will never stop. And at the moment, for example, during the war in Ukraine and Russia at the moment, and USA is one of the NATO countries. The United States is actually scrambling to hire or to employ around 600,000 cybersecurity professionals to defend the country from attack coming from Russia, cyber attack coming from Russia. So, in case of wars, it's not nowadays. It's not only physical wars; they are also coming with cyber attack, and they will be attacking your infrastructure, such as the nuclear plant, or the electricity plant, generation point, and the water supply. And yeah, if they can actually bring down the electricity supply for the country, you can imagine the amount of havoc they can create for the country. And yeah, so we need to think that starting from now, do we have the capacity, enough people or enough professionals cybersecurity to handle cases as big as this, or even maybe not as big as this, but the amount of attack coming into our city. Okay, next. For example, okay, this is a very good example that is looking outside, but coming back to Google. My state, for example, department in Cybersecurity Malaysia, there's a project called the Bahnet, whereby they install these devices all over organization, and then these devices is actually inviting attacks from outside, and so that they can analyze the number of attacks coming into our country. And looking at this trend in 2020, taken by 2021, so the amount of attacks coming by month is actually in the millions. So we actually cannot run from attack. Even maybe local attacks, or mostly these are coming from outside. Okay. Next one. Okay, possible cyber attacks in smart cities. These are all actually attack vectors, possible attack vectors. These are not new. These are what we are fixing now, currently, in our organizations, in our offices, in our companies, and even in our government bodies or government department. These are just I can say a few of the attacks possible to be coming into our future smart city. And you can just imagine amount of attack that can be mounted against each and every layer of our smart city. Layer 1, maybe attacking the cyber ecosystem, and layer 2, attacking attacks on the communication, example, eavesdropping, man in the middle, in between, mechanism being. These are not these are common. Like layer 3 application, like cross-site scripting, SQL injections are very lethal to penetrating your network. And then the data analytics, well, the layer 4. So looking at the amount of the numbers of attacks that can come into at any time into the layers of our smart cities, so we need to really rethink. Actually, from what I heard, yes, the awareness has to be built more and more, so that when building and when start designing our smart cities, then we should think of cybersecurity. Okay. Next, Fatin. Issues and concerns. Why those attacks are happening, and then why are we concerned about attacks? And some of these issues are right from the very beginning, a lack of cybersecurity testing. So we implement technology, but we don't we are not aware of the security. So lack of cybersecurity testing, and then poor or non-existent security. This is very bad because we don't even care about security of the systems that we install. And then, of course, issues has become one of the major issues in cybersecurity. And then lack of computer emergency response team is also another concern, because we have installed, sometimes we have the devices installed, but we don't have the actual team to look at what devices are telling us, or what the alerts or the logs are telling us. If there are attacks coming in, so there are not enough professional, not enough personnel that can look at the problem. And then large and complex attack surface. Yes, as you've seen before, the attack surface of our futures must be very huge. Attacks can come from any of the layers, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, or layer 4. And then as technology advances, and each and every technology has its own advantages and disadvantages and shortcomings. So those shortcomings, if we don't actually look into it or attend to it, it can become one day loophole for our adversary to come in. And of course, the next one is patch deployment issues. This is forever. It is one of the issues that haunting cybersecurity. In secure legacy systems, what do we do with our legacy system? because sometimes we need to have them, but there is no appropriate or suitable control that can protect them from attack. Then public safety issues are the issues of faced by the government or sectors in terms of attacks, because they are one of the major targets of malicious actors out there. Because if they can penetrate in one of the sectors, a lot of information can be disclosed. Lack of cyber attack emergency plan is another issue, and susceptible to denial of attack. Denial of service attack is actually a massive attack, taking down your major service. For example, attack on our ISPs so that they can't provide high-speed internet service to clients. Okay. Next, Fatin. Okay, looking at the issues faced in our smart cities, what are the recommendations that we can think of as a way to overcome issues? So some of the recommendation is starts from selecting technology, selecting the technologies that we're going to use in our smart city. The selection process has to be stringent enough, and then it has to be done at the very early age of the design of the city. And the design of some smart city is not only enough in terms of physical and whether the solution works or not, but we have to think in terms of security as well at the very age, at the very early stage of the design. And then communication, the communication part, we have to ensure that every communication has a strong encryption, and then all those outdated encryption has to be moved or not used anymore. And the solution should support strong authentication mechanism. Yes, it is another attack vector that an adversary can exploit to get into our system. Authentication mechanism. Then perhaps we also require and enforce proper permission. Now, sometimes permissions are granted without proper authorization from the owner of the application. Okay, next. Then, yes, updates should be automatic and secure. This has to be done automatically, and normally zero-day attacks happens because of lack in automatic update software. Logs must also be saved securely against tampering. Yeah. Logs should not be tampered because attacks, when attacks are coming in, one of the areas that they are attacking logs of the system, because you can trace whatever they are doing to the system using logs. So if we can have mechanism to protect the log of the system, then we can actually trace back what has been done to them. Devices should have mechanisms to prevent tampering. In the case of system malfunctioning, when in the case of system malfunctioning or crash, that system should remain secure and security protection remain. This is one of the key things that we want the technologies that we use to have. Solution should come with secure configuration by default. This is another key thing. The configuration by default should be taken care of right from the manufacturing state. So when they ship the equipment to us, they ship the product to us, it is already configured to have your configuration. Okay. And some recommendations for implementing technologies. Okay. Yes, it should pass the selection phase test, and it should be securely delivered, meaning it should not be tampered while transporting the product or the device from the manufacturing plant or the manufacturing factory to the site. Because there are cases that product has been tampered with in transit before reaching the final the client. Yes, strong encryption again. We would recommend strong encryption and secure system administration. We should implement secure system administration, set strong passwords, and remove unnecessary user account. Disable unused functionality and services. This is one of the things that we found when we are doing penetration testing. We have found unnecessary accounts being left in the system, having so much power, like system admin being left there without unprotected. Disable unused functionality and services. Those functions that are not used for a certain application should be disabled, because if an adversary comes in, if this functionality is available, they will use it. Enable auditing of security events. Auditing must be as well. Next. Some recommendation for smart city operators and administrators. Create simple checklist and make sure that system have proper encryption, authentication, and authorization, and make sure the system can be easily updated. Documentation are also important. So request your vendor for security documentation and ensure that inside the service, the SLA, if possible, on-time patching of vulnerabilities, and also a 24/7 response. Now, number 3, fix security issues as soon as they are discovered. So don't let security issues going on without being attended. So, in order to do this, we need the people, and then also we need the capability to attend the issues, because there might be, if we are dealing with a lot of technologies, that we need people. We really need a lot of cybersecurity professionals. Create specific cities that can deal with cybersecurity incidents, reporting and patching. Yes, the emergency response team. If we were to have smart cities in state, each of the states should have their own set, not reliant on vendor or other contract. If possible, it is good to have your own team that security immediately. Okay, next. Implement and make known to city workers the procedures. Another thing is the procedures in case of attack, and define formal channel. Yes, and implement filter and manual overrides on all systems. Don't depend solely on smart technology. Restrict access in some way to public data. Request registration approval for using it, and track access and usage. Regularly run penetration tests all city systems and networks, and prepare the worst and create a threat model for everyone. Okay, next. Okay, this is CSM approach in terms of incorporating cybersecurity into smart city development, and we actually divide it into 3 phases: pre-development, development, and post-development. Cybersecurity has to be has to be care of in every phase of the development, in every phase of the design and development of smart city. And in for example, in pre-development, the security requirement has to be looked at, and then in order to help us to and guide us coming up with the proper requirements of security and privacy, we should look at, we should be doing, we should look at the standards and guidelines and best practices that are available. We will look at that one. And also, as I said, we need also to look at the human capital development, because we need a lot of cybersecurity professionals. And also risk assessment and threat modeling. We need to know what threat that is possible for our smart cities, and then risk assessment to prepare the goals for this tech. And also during development, security and privacy requirements obtained from the pre-development phase should be translated to deployment of security and privacy requirements. So during the development of during the development phase, all those security and privacy requirements should be enforced. For example, the secure coding practice, the secure software development lifecycle practice, and security testing of products as well. Products should be tested not only for functionality, but also for security, maybe in terms of physical security or in terms of cyber security, before they are being put. Also, it's good to perform risk and privacy assessment as well. And in order to have backup for in case of emergency, business continuity management should also be. And okay, next is the post-development. So after all the infrastructure has been set up for our smart cities, so in terms of monitoring it and in terms of maintaining it, we recommend the smart cities stakeholders and administrators to form or to conduct periodic BAPT or content, and also to look at the hardening process. Hardening process is actually to make the systems more and more stronger in terms of resiliency, in terms of withstanding attack. So it's more difficult for the adversary up there. Also the risk and privacy. Right, next. Security is not the only element of cybersecurity is not the only element of smart city that we should look at, but another important element is the privacy of citizens. Simply put, privacy means the protection of personal data or personal information that can identify you as a person. Okay. That should also be taken care of. And then this is actually a summary of what we have talked about. The security and privacy should be managed for relevant goals, for example, the certification, the ISO certification, and PIMS, personal information management system audit and certification. And common criteria is standard for test of product have high assurance level products. Also a certification standard for product in terms of looking at cyber part, and people, those who will be held responsible of security in smart cities should have relevant competencies and sets, and also security and privacy requirements for critical components in smart cities should be made mandatory. Okay, next. Okay, these standard procedures and guidelines should be our close friend, because by looking at standard, and actually we urge you to look at the standard, look at the procedures, and look at the guidelines of cybersecurity, the current ones. And by studying these standard procedures and guidelines, we can have a good idea on how to implement cybersecurity properly in our smart. Right, next. These are some commonly referred standards. Looking at the layers, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and layer 4, the ISO standard, and I urge you actually to go and look up its standard if you're interested in knowing more about them. The ISO, for example, the Information Security Management System, the ISO 27001, 2018, also the Code of Practice for Information Controls, and a lot of privacy information management system. These standards are actually going to help us a lot in terms of looking at cybersecurity aspect of each and every layer of our next. Also, another gold mine are not only from the international standard, the relevant, there are also security guidelines, framework, and technical standards developed by local entities, and they are available from, for example, our PSO, Ketua Pegawai Kerajaan Perkhidmatan Kerja Malaysia. They have come up with garis panduan melalui komputer awan cloud. In that's just one example. Mampu, so has come up their guidelines, perangkat kerja, the framework perangkat kerja keselamatan cyber awam, and the Malaysian Communication and MCA also has come up with a guideline. Next. And MTSFE has come up with a lot of technical standards that we can refer to. And Cybersecurity Malaysia, this we have worked on for a few years now, and it's a very good guidelines for implementing security in cloud, industrial system, in software development lifecycle, IoT, you name it, MyCard, and also Industry 4.0. Take a look at them and download them freely from our website. Next. Okay, in terms of key success factors, we believe that the integration of a human factor, physical and digital, the working seamless and effective integration between these three elements is a key factor that of our activities. And also we need good governance, management, and private protection to uphold the confidentiality, integrity, privacy in our master. Lastly, maintaining good service, something that we can trust, services that can be trusted. Next. In conclusion, smart cities actually present a tremendous opportunity for growth, sustainability, and social. But security, but the cities, the advanced cities, should not only advance in technology, but also be safe. And then, since these cities will be highly dependent on technologies, a large disruption in the infrastructure can happen if some elements of the education information system has tampered with attack as corrupt. The government and city planners can build this together with awareness about threat and share information on how to mitigate the threat before they can be. Okay, next. So as a way forward, we at Cybersecurity Malaysia recommend that security to be included in the design. Recommends to include security by design approach as a mandatory requirement for a secured smart digital process. Security has to be taken care of right from the early stage of designing the product and as well designing the whole outlay of the layout of the smart. It is the best approach to include security as part of smart city requirement rather than to implement it after everything has been connected. Okay. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I pass back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. We are now open for Q&A session, and we have a few questions here in chat box. The first question is from Puan Zarina, and the question is there any framework for data security for open access software for multiple stakeholders? Maybe Mr. Nohamadi can respond to the question.
The open again, Fatin, the question.
Is there any framework for data security?
Open framework for the data security. Not that I know of at the moment, but I can come back with the answer later.
Okay.
So
So
can I intervene sekejap? Sorry.
okay, sure.
Is this
Yes,
question is this question more towards this open source, or it is a general for the public sector? Because if they are referring to a framework of keselamatan cyber for the public sector, we do have one under Mampu on AXA. We call this Raksa, Rangka Kerja Keselamatan Cyber untuk Sektor Awam. I'm not sure if that helps, but that is one framework that they can refer to lah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Noah, for responding to the question. Okay, Mr. Nohamadi, we go to the next question. From Encik Hasmawi, Majlis Pembandaran Selayang. It's a long question. Okay, I will read it. Smart City Initiative comes from federal and state governments. So, what suppose the local government do to implement cybersecurity element, because the cost of each element is high, and who will bear the cost, and also how will we as a local government with limited income to overcome this shortcoming?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Okay, I go one by one, Mr. Nohamadi. Yeah. Okay.
Ahmadi, boleh I tolong Ahmadi?
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
Fatin, sebab soalan ni general, okay. When it comes to cybersecurity, it is a question of, I think macam tadi Hamadi pun dah explain, it's about people, process and technology. So local government should most probably, or I think they should start with the people part, because kadang-kadang ni kita want to jump into technology cepat sangat. So look at your people, create the awareness, give them the proper training, and then very important, look into the processes. Inshallah, technology can always come later. But if you conduct an awareness program like what we are doing now, what is the cost of conducting a program like this? I think tak sampai pun RM1,000 kan. So these are the things that must be done. We must create awareness at our staff level, at our community, so that people know cybersecurity ni sebenarnya is actually a people concern, a people issue. Kita jangan cepat sangat nak melompat, that we want to go into the technology. Technology, there is plenty of time for technology, and that is where the cost is lah. And the most important thing is, can you afford not to do anything? Okay, that will be my response lah. Maybe Hamadi nak tambah lagi ke?
I'm okay.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe I want to invite Puan Zarina to speak online. I think she has a question to ask to Mr. Noh Hamadi.
Sure. Boleh.
Mute good.
Okay, Puan Zarina, can you hear us?
Yes.
Zarina, maybe can speak louder.
Okay. How about now?
Dengar.
Okay.
Okay, so I have question to Mr. Anwar. So about my question, so currently I'm working on the digital public goods. So digital public goods is open software, open data, open AI model, open standard, open content that adhere with the privacy and all. So this open software is for public goods. So it's contain multiple stakeholders such as the government, the NGO, the think tank. So I want to know if there is any framework for this type of software. Because currently we have issues in the data security because there is a multiple software, multiple stakeholder. They use data. They have their own logins for security purpose, but in terms of data, they also have some concerns. So like each entity can have access to one particular issue, the data that they have interest. But there is a lot of argument about the data security. So I want to know some of your insight for this. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me answer you from the perspective of the framework, the one that we developed with Mampu Raksa. So under Raksa, yes, since we did refer back to the NIST framework. So under Raksa, we have the respective components that needs to be conducted before any applications can be, I think, rolled out to your customers or to public, and that framework, I think now is about 5 to 6 years old. We are looking into refreshing it. That is one aspect. But I think on the other aspect, in terms of any application that you want to roll out to public, you definitely need to discuss dengan Mr. Hamadi lah, because that is where all the pen tests and the VAPT comes in. While it is good for you to understand overall the framework in terms of the components, I think while you are doing the application, macam yang Hamadi cakap tadi tu, make sure security is by design. Security is not an afterthought. And security is something that you must bake in while you are doing your development. Of course, when it comes to VAPT, pen test and everything, maybe Hamadi, you can elaborate on that.
Okay. Okay, Fatin, can you repeat the question just now?
Okay, next question. From Shahida Razali. Okay, she asking on, does Malaysia, Cybersecurity Malaysia, have the real-time database system to detect the cyber attack?
Real time. No, we don't. We don't. We wish, but no, we don't. I'll go through the corporate presentation of cybersecurity shortly, and hopefully that will clarify what are our capabilities, what we are doing now, and maybe we can have some of these questions after my presentation.
Okay, thank you Encik Anwar. Okay, ada lagi question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is for Encik Hamadi. Between cybersecurity and information security, which is more important?
Which is more important?
Yeah.
Actually,
Clarify.
please clarify. As I said tadilah, the information security takes care of everything. Cybersecurity as well as physical security, as well as documentation security, everything. So in terms of kepentingan, both are important. Cybersecurity more towards dealing with attacks, cyber attacks, cyber exploits, and then defense system. So information security has a larger scope than that. But in terms of important, both are equally important.
Kalau nak confusekan lagi boleh masuk lagi satu, digital security. Sebab kalau cyber tu we also look into analog.
Yes.
Kalau digital tu. But I totally agree. Everything is important. When you talk about security, information security, physical, cyber, they are all important. And adding on to that, I think as what we have seen over the past 2 years, health security, pandemic, habis everybody locked down, that affects everyone lah. Food security. So I think when we talk about security ni, it is always about the risk part of it, assessment. And I think this is some of the topics that we should be looking into as well lah.
Thank you, Encik Anwar and Encik Mahathir. Okay, I have next question. Okay, what are the current issue and in developing cybersecurity for smart city?
Oh, current issue.
The latest issue maybe?
Latest issue. Janwa, ada anything?
I would definitely start with people part. I think that is always where the awareness comes in. Start with human factor, and then we look into the perspective of what are the processes that we need to put in place. Of course, technology is evolving. Technology is always going to be there, whether it's going to be blockchain, IT, autonomous vehicles, smart garbage collection, smart traffic lights. So technology is always going to be there. But if we have the right resources, if we have the people, start dengan human factor dulu. That is where I will be coming in. Maybe Hamadi comes in from the technology perspective. Cik Hamadi?
Yeah. In terms of technology, the ever challenging lah, I say, challenges yang paling susah sekali. So actually, the zero-day attacks. The zero-day attacks ni can hit you from anywhere. It can be as simple as your phone, or as complex as your microprocessor inside your notebooks. So we will never know. And then we can only know after dah berlaku, when that has already hit us. And then the problem with that is that tak ada patches, tak ada solution yang immediate. So and then we are scrambling into getting the patches ready and everything. So between that time frame of getting the patches ready itu, there will be a time frame where we are vulnerable to attack. And bukan satu dua location, maybe thousands of users or thousands of multiple places yang akan kena hit. So that is one of the thing yang our adversary is leveraging on. So in terms of technology, dia akan leverage in terms of like that. Dia akan look at our weakest point ataupun weakest point in time. So that is their window of opportunity. That will be always the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you to our both speaker. And thank you once again, Mr. Noh Hamadi, for your insightful presentation. Now, I think I would like to close first the Q&A session, and we can continue after the presentation by Encik Anwar.
InsyaAllah.
Okay, thank you.
Anwar, and we can continue the Q&A session with Encik Anwar and Hamadi. Okay.
Terima kasih Fatin.
Sama-sama.
Terima kasih Cik Ahmadi. Alhamdulillah, excellent presentation by my colleague tadi tu. Pretty technical. I am not going to be looking into the technical aspects. I'm looking more into, I think there have been a lot of questions about siapa Cybersecurity Malaysia ni. So I'm going to start my presentation on corporate profile lah. So please allow me a few minutes to share on who we are and what we have been doing over the past many years. But of course, first and foremost, thank you to Fatin and Mike for giving us this opportunity to present. Inshallah, I will try my best to give some clarification. So Fatin, boleh minta next slide please? Okay, while my presentation title is Industry Development Initiatives, but I think since we are all talking about cybersecurity, let me just start dengan some history first lah, some explanation about Cybersecurity Malaysia, how long we've been here and what exactly we are doing, our objectives, vision, mission statement. So can I have the next slide, please? Well, incidentally, okay, this is our 25th anniversary. This year, we are going to be celebrating our Jubilee Perak. So dah 25 tahun dah Cybersecurity Malaysia ni. We started as a small department in MIMOS. We were known as the Malaysia Computer Emergency Response Team, MyCERT. And over the time, we grew and we evolved from MyCERT, and we were now then known as the National ICT Security Emergency and Response Center. So bunyi pun NICER, okay, 2001. And then we submitted some cabinet paper that NICER or MyCERT ni become an agency of its own. So the cabinet approved in 2005, and in 2007, NICER was officially registered as Cybersecurity Malaysia, and Cybersecurity Malaysia was launched at that time. The Prime Minister was Yang Amat Berhormat Tun Abdullah Badawi. And of course, during that time, we were still within the Kementerian Science and Technology. As the government changed in 2018, we moved to now Kementerian Komunikasi and Multimedia. So since 2018, we are now under Kementerian Komunikasi lah. And next slide, please. So dah 25 tahun, and in that 25 years, we've maintained that we aspire. We aspire to be a technical agency. We aspire that Cybersecurity Malaysia is a world-class cybersecurity specialist agency. I think over the years, Alhamdulillah, we are there. I've been in Cybersecurity Malaysia for almost 14 years. I joined in 2008, and I've seen a lot of progress, a lot of development, and we have grown from about almost 100 people to 300, but over the years, we have stabilized to 250 people. One of the key challenges that we have is cybersecurity staff ni, especially I think if you have seen macam Hamadi semua, they are very much in demand, okay? So a lot of the young graduates, they joined after 3-4 years. Wow, their career path, the salary that is being offered to them is impossible to say no. So anyway, we are happy because that is part of our mission, and our mission is to create, to develop a more safer and resilient cyber ecosystem. Okay, we are definitely looking into national security. We are looking into economic prosperity, where our staff, alhamdulillah, they grow, they get higher salary, and of course, social harmony. And all this is through the provision of our services. We definitely are looking at cutting edge technology. We are looking at excellent technical people like Hamadi and many more. And at the same time, we want to nurture talent and expertise. Staff come and go, but we believe that, talent is something that we can nurture. We do have the capability, and this has been shown over the last, I guess, 25 years, where we can retain the talent, and there are also talent that keeps on moving, but they maintain good relationship, and they are always sharing their technical expertise and experience with CSM. I think macam universiti lah, so University Cybersecurity Malaysia ni, alhamdulillah, I think we are doing our part on this. Okay. So next is the mandat, ya. Mandat Cybersecurity Malaysia ni, unfortunately kita tak ada akta. Kat Malaysia kita tak ada akta Cybersecurity Malaysia. But we have mandat, ya. We have mandat nota Jemaah Menteri between MOF and MOSTI. And this was on the cabinet meeting 28 September 2005 that Jemaah Menteri setuju that the National ICT Security and Emergency Response Center (NICER) to be known as Cybersecurity Malaysia, and it is the national body to monitor national e-security. And we are actually a company, syarikat limited by guarantee, and at that time was under the supervision of MOSTI. And also under Akta Fungsi-Fungsi Menteri, Cybersecurity Malaysia provides specialized cybersecurity services, and of course we continuously identify possible areas that can be detrimental to national security. Dan juga under arahan 24 ya, bawah MKN, peranan Cybersecurity Malaysia as a technical agency to provide technical assistance and training services for the national cyber crisis management. Okay, so these are our mandat. We are definitely looking into an akta, and at the same time, kita also report kepada National Cybersecurity Agency (NACSA) and also to our kementerian lah, KKMM. And next slide, yeah. So over the years from the 1997, kalau kita tengok yang kat bawah sekali tu, our basic function has been on the computer emergency and response team. I will elaborate on that, yeah. So from the MyCert punya response of incidents handling semua, we moved on. When we were NICER, we expanded our functions to look into what are other emergency services that we can provide. Of course, we look into training, which is professional development and awareness, and the security quality services, like for example, ISO 27001 and common criteria. And then when we became Cybersecurity Malaysia, we added on 4 more functions, which is the industry and research development. Of course, very important, the cyber threat research and risk assessment, technical coordination center, and the National Cybersecurity Policy implementation, as well as sekarang ni is the Malaysia Cybersecurity Strategy. So over the years, our functions have expanded from just becoming the emergency response team to training, awareness, industry development, coordination, plus of course implementation of national cybersecurity policy. Okay. So overall, kalau kita tengok, we are having 5 respective services. The first one is responsive. Responsive ni, when an incident has happened, when you've been attacked, when you've been compromised, macam bomba lah. So we basically go out there and help to look at the incident, recover the services, okay? And very important, kalau boleh, before an incident happen, you need to look into what are the proactive areas, okay? So that is the second service on the proactive services. Proactive ni macam-macam lah, like conducting of standards development, compliance to guidelines, and then the third part is on the outreach, awareness and people development training. Yeah, strategic study and engagement. We definitely need to write reports, and I think that is a very important aspect. What are the cyber threats? What are the new areas that the nation should be looking into? And finally is on the industry development and research and development, all the new technologies, artificial intelligence, blockchain, AI, Industry 4.0 as well. Okay, so among the first service, next one please, next slide please. So one of our main service, which is under the responsive service, yeah, is digital forensics. Okay, digital forensics ni very important, where after an incident has happened, we look into the analysis part. Okay, katakanlah for example, one of the key thing here, I ambil example MH370 lah. Okay, so Captain Zahari, his computer, his simulator was being investigated, and our counterparts from America, were asking for the hard disk. They want to do the analysis on the hard disk, and thank God we have the expertise. So we what we did was kita imagekan hard disk tu kepada 3 hard disk. Satu we gave to the Americans to do the analysis, and of course another hard disk we gave to the Chinese government because mainly the passengers from China, and another image we ourselves did the analysis, and then we compare the results. So these are very important aspects because we would not know if we don't have those capabilities what is actually in that hard disk yang arwah Captain Zahri lah. And due to that, I think digital forensics ni macam bomba lah. After an incident has happened, you need to look into the evidence. How do you analyze the evidence? So we have our cyber CSI, cyber dev, which we look into detect, eradicate, and conduct the forensics. InsyaAllah kalau ada rezeki, if someone would like to come and visit us, we will be happy to share with you our forensics capabilities. Kita ada digital forensics lab. We do data recovery in case that your hard disk, your handphone crashed and has become corrupted. We will try to assist on getting the data back. We develop forensics tool, and one thing that we are very proud to share is that our staff that work in Cybersecurity Malaysia, they are considered as an expert witness under the Criminal Procedure Code CPC 399. So they are always being asked to give testimony in the court lah. So this basically reflects the technical capability of CSM staff. Okay. Next slide, yeah. As I explained tadi, Cybersecurity Malaysia ni dia punya punca dia, we started from MyCert. Okay. CERT basically is on the emergency and response team. This is where we look into all those attacks. What malware is in the network? We have our HoneyNet. We do malware research center, and on top of that, we also develop products untuk do malware scanning lah. And one of the product that we have successfully developed is CMER, Coordinated Malware Eradication and Remediation Project. And we are using this product in our services. One of the services that I will share later is on conducting cybersecurity health check. And we use CMER to do malware scanning. And of course, on top of this, we have our Cyber Threat Research Center. We do incident response, and of course, on the technical coordination. So if there are any PBTs out there that are interested to collaborate, to partner with us, we are more than happy to share our expertise and how we can assist you to set up your CSIRT team. Okay. And this is very important because you must have a CSIRT team. You must have a team that can respond to any incidents within your system, within your network, and within your community. And next slide, please. So MyCert ni basically we cater to the public, okay? And over the years, the incidents that are reported to us have grown multiple fold lah. Kalau yang masa 1997, for the entire year, only about 81 cases. But now on monthly basis, we get between 800 to 1,000 cases. And even then, we believe this is only a small part of the, is only the tip of the iceberg. There are many more cases that are not being reported because one, probably they are not aware, and second, they just don't bother to report because it is not mandatory. Cybersecurity incident ni bukannya macam accident kereta. Kalau accident kereta, you buat police report, you claim insurance. As much as there is cyber insurance now, but unfortunately, it is not mandatory to make reports. Okay, so we believe that even though the number of incidents that are being referred to us, we don't call it report lah, kita kata refer lah, that are referred to us between 800 to 1,000 cases a month. So we believe it's definitely a lot higher than that. Okay, and out of that, fraud, cyber harassment, because I think over the years, the hackers ni dah pandai dah. They are using internet untuk menipu orang, untuk curi duit. Okay, so they don't go on the street, they don't go to your house, they just go to your bank account. It's much more easier to hack your bank, to hack your online accounts. Okay, so for the next slide, yeah. So for proactive services, this is where my colleague tadi, Cik Hamadi, is involved in. He looks into the vulnerability assessment and pen tests. His expertise, I think before this, was in the industrial control system. And of course, we look into software development lifecycle. We look into Industry 4.0, IoT, and of course, we conduct training and we have our facilities and the vulnerability assessment. MyWAC conducts all that services. On MyWAC ni stands for Vulnerability Assessment Center. Another department is the Security Evaluation Facility. So under the security evaluation, basically we conduct evaluation and assessment services. We audit cloud security. Of course, kita ada lab, ya, kita ada product assessment lab, which we call this the Common Criteria Lab, and we also do professional development, which is the ISO 17025. And on top of that, we have our cryptography department, where we do randomness tests. We have our tools, and also we have our Cryptography Evaluation Lab. Again, my invitation, if anyone is interested to visit us, do send us an email, and we are more than happy to facilitate and to share our capabilities with you. All right. Banyak lab ni kita ada, and some of this lab is good if you could do some of them at your site, but on the other hand, I think it's something that we should share and collaborate lah. Next slide, yeah. So one of the other service under proactive is the risk assessment, and this is very, very critical, I guess, when we look into smart city. I think we need to look into what are the guidelines, what are the framework. Banyak soalan tadi, ya, on guidelines and framework. So we do have our own tool. We developed IceGreek, which stands for Information Security Governance, Risk and Compliance. We developed this together dengan Mampu, so that we understand the assessment that is required for the public sector. And on top of that, we have also developed quite a lot of guidance series. Okay, we call this the Information Security Management System Guidance Series. Yeah? And our certification body, we conduct certification for common criteria. We have our own technical security assessment, because common criteria ni ISO. So to get common criteria certification, dia agak tedious lah. And of course, we also do ISMS, ISO 27001. We conduct certification for pen test service providers, as well as business continuity management. And this is something that we keep on expanding, yeah, because there will be requirements and need for more certifications. Okay. So on top of all that, I guess very important will be the next slide, please. By having all these services, okay, Fatin boleh minta next slide, please. Okay. Yang penting kan, very, very important is not what we have, is what we share with others. Okay, so this is where our outreach awareness program and capability development comes in. So in terms of professional development, or what we know as the training part lah, we have our portal, which we call Cyber Guru, and we also have our Global ACE certification. Because cybersecurity certification ni expensive. Kalau kita tengok under ISACA certifications are about 15,000 to 20,000. SANS Institute are about 20,000 or even higher. We have EC Council, which is I guess pretty reasonable in the range of 5 to 8,000 ringgit. But where we come dengan Global ACE ni, Global Accredited Cybersecurity Education Scheme, we want to make cybersecurity education more affordable in the range of about 3 to 5,000 ringgit. And upon having the training and of course taking your exams, there must be a career path. So where we come dengan global Ace ni is a path for you to gain your technology specialist. So our global Ace training program, not all, some of them are under the Malaysian Board of Technologies. So upon taking your training and making sure you pass the test, you are to get the TS certification as well. Okay, you can have the title kat depan nama you lah, TS. And on top of that, what we are always carrying out our outreach and awareness program. The brand that we have is we call CyberSafe lah, Cyber Security Awareness for Everyone. So we conduct training, we conduct awareness untuk budak-budak sekolah. We have our national cybersecurity debate. We don't call it debate lah, we call it discourse. Okay, and of course, if you go to our website, banyak poster, infographic, content that you can have. Okay, so on top of all this, we are always having ceramah-ceramah kesedaran awareness program. So if you need our staff to conduct, I think there was a question tadi tu, if you need us to come to your town or local community to do training, to do awareness, we are more than happy to do that, insyaAllah. It is something that we look forward to go out and conduct this awareness program. Right, next slide. Yeah. So this is our strategic engagement, where we look into engagement with other government agencies, because under National Cybersecurity Policy, we look into the protection of our critical national information infrastructure, CNII, where we have the telecommunication sector under Multimedia Commission, MCMC, financials under Bank Negara, Suruhanjaya Tenaga, Petronas, government under Mampu dan Aksa. So there is a lot of engagement within the government and as well as within the critical infrastructure. And cybersecurity ni is not jago kampung. It's not setakat kat Malaysia aja. There is a lot of collaboration, there's a lot of engagement that we need to do on the international aspect. So we are proud to say that we are among the founders for the OIC CERT, and we were the chairman for OIC CERT for 4 years. And then, of course, we hand over to Qatar and other countries. We are a key member for the Asia Pacific CERT as well. I think this year we are deputy chair, if I'm not wrong. But again, all this basically is our contribution both for regional and international engagement as well. And it speaks volumes of our people, of our staff that attend the meeting and contribute to these meetings as well. So because of this, Alhamdulillah, I think we have been able to provide strategic advice and also feedback to our stakeholders. We do have our monthly reports that we submit to NACSA, that we submit to our Kementerian, and of course, when required, to respective ministers as well. Okay. Next, please. All right. So this is where I am in. Okay. I'm in the yang research ni tadi I think as I have explained, we do a lot of service research, product research, how we can improve our services and product. I am the head for industry engagement and collaboration, which we call as the CIEC department lah. The key things that we do in industry development is because we understand cybersecurity ni bukan silo. Cybersecurity ni is an ecosystem. We need to work with the users. We need to work with the vendors. And everybody, it's a holistic, we must engage everyone when it comes to cybersecurity. All right. And I will go into detail my initiatives and my projects as well. Next is on the recognition. Okay. Next slide, please. So Alhamdulillah lah, over the last 25 years, banyaklah award yang kita terima. Some of them is like recognition in the Malaysian Book of Records. I'm proud to say that I was in Washington DC to receive the award from FireEye in terms of cybersecurity innovation under the WSIS for our Global ACE training program. So these are just some lah, actually banyak lagi. And Next slide ya. On top of awards yang the organisation yang CSM sendiri terima, many of our staff received awards and recognition on their individual contributions. For example, my CEO, Dato' Amiruddin, was recognized as outstanding CISO. My colleagues have been recognized under from the hacking competition, as well as even Interpol recognized some of our colleagues as experts in standards development. So Alhamdulillah lah, international and global recognition. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah. So likewise, kalau tadi itu awards, this is our involvement where, as I explained tadi itu, we were chairman, deputy chairman untuk OIC Cert, AP Cert, the World Trustmark Alliance, Common Criteria, and many others lah. So this is recognition for the organisation as well as to the staff, our people yang kerja kat Cybersecurity Malaysia ni. Alhamdulillah lah. Smart people, a lot of good people here. Of course lah, I kena puji diri kita sendiri lah kan. Alright, so sekarang ni, what do I do? Okay. Under the industry development, as I explained tadi tu, cybersecurity industry engagement and collaboration, one of the key things that we have is our collaboration program. Our CCP program ni is an initiative between government and industry, because we want our cybersecurity companies kat Malaysia ni to be regional and world class. So we have programs for them. We assist them in terms of common criteria certification. We assist them in terms of marketing. We try to do matchmaking. For example, next week we will be having a big event dekat MITEC, the Defence Services Asia DSA. And part of DSA is the National Security Conference ataupun known as the Cybersecurity Defence Conference, DSA CyberDef. So we have 10 of our collaboration partners to have their kiosks there. We are expecting around 30,000 to 50,000 visitors. So by the way, DSA ini is open to public. Kalau siapa-siapa yang ada masa, do drop by to the cybersecurity punya exhibition and our pavilion, which is kat tingkat 3. But the bigger event is the defense event lah. So kalau siapa-siapa nak tengok pistol ke, senapang ke, kapal ke, apa ke, there is a lot of exhibition in this DSA kat MITEC starting on Monday onwards. Now, we have our own smaller event, which is now, which is known as the Cybersecurity Malaysia Awards, Conference and Exhibition. So, small event, kalau kita compare dengan DSA, kalau DSA itu antara 30 ke 50 ribu orang. Our CSMAs, annually we have our event, and last year kita conduct both online as well as physical. So our total attendance last year, including yang online sekali ni, dalam 4,800 orang. So that is on the average. Our last physical event was in 2019. I believe we had almost 4,000 staff juga, 4,000 visitors. So last year we did a small event. It was in Cyberjaya, kat Dewan, kat office kita aja ni. This year we are insyaAllah looking to make it even more grander. We hope we can do it in a 5-star hotel. Part of the event training programs, exhibition, job fair, and of course our conferences lah. So this is an annual event, and insyaAllah as more detail come, we will be updating our website. Okay. Another key service that we provide under our industry development is the cybersecurity clinic. This is very important because I think we are all guilty of this. Yeah, we all sometimes don't save our files properly. We don't backup, and then the hard disk crash, or then your computer, the handphone gets corrupted. So when this happens, don't be too scared. Don't be worried. Bring it over to us, okay? Because we have this initiative, kita panggil cyber clinic. Okay, insyaAllah we can offer data recovery, And we are proud to say that we have done many complex and complicated cases. For example, Hospital Sedang, dia punya server 40 terabyte crash. It took us about 3 months to do the data recovery. By the way, data recovery ni bukan free ya, yang ni kena bayar, okay? Last but not least is our health check program. This is nama dia, kita panggil program galakan pemerkasaan keselamatan cyber kepada PKS lah, all our small and medium industries. Okay, so PGPKS ni is basically a health check program to look into the level of I would say hygiene lah, cybersecurity hygiene in the Malaysian SMEs, and we do know, unfortunately, it is lacking because unfortunately a lot of our Malaysian SMEs are still not aware and are still using unlicensed products. Okay, so memang penting lah benda ni kena buat health check ni, and this is one of the programs under the My Digital Blueprint as well. Okay, next slide please. So macam tadi tu I mentioned our collaboration program CCP. We basically work closely dengan partners kita, dengan company-company yang kat Malaysia ni, on how we can enhance, on how we can improve their products and services, and how we can help market their services as well. So Alhamdulillah, we do have some success stories. I'll be happy to share this later. Okay. Lagi, next please, next slide please. So as I explained tadi kan, cybersecurity ni memang kompleks, okay, and it is an evolving technologies. So that is why kelemahan-kelemahan yang dalam software ni, the vulnerabilities, macam Cik Ahmadi explain tadi, the 0 days, yeah. So these are very critical, and if industries, if the people out there are not aware, they are going to be vulnerable, they are going to be compromised, okay. And at the same time, we are fortunate because Alhamdulillah kerajaan Malaysia ni banyak resources, banyak services and grant-grant yang ada. For example, there are grants under Kementerian Sains dan Teknologi, and we would like to assist partners. We assist our industry on applying for these grants, so we become their strategic partner as well. And very important, sebab kita ada our common criteria product assessment, we help to assess their product, so we know what are the weaknesses and how to address this and how to harden and improve the product. Of course, end of the day, all this is on maximizing the resources between the government and the industry. And I think we have done okay, not too bad lah, and still a lot more needs to be done on this part. InsyaAllah, it's an ongoing thing. And yesterday, we had an industry dialogue, almost 30 lebih our industry partners came, and we addressed what are the issues, what are the concerns, and how best we can address the issues of the industry out there. Okay. Next slide, please. Of course, to become a CCP partner, you need to get registered. You must be a Sendirian Berhad, registered dengan SSM, yeah. And then there are also criteria that you have to pass. You must have certain criteria in terms of your financial, your technical capabilities, resources, and there must be an existing business lah. Not just any Tom, Dick or Harry, okay. But we are more than happy to assist everyone, okay. So kalau yang registered partners ni, the benefits is on the community networking. We do our development program, and of course, we also identify your people for training purposes. Registered partners basically need to pay RM1,000 annually, okay. And strategic partners ni lebih sikit lah bayar kan, bayar RM3,000 setahun, but they get more benefits, okay. This is where we assist them in the business opportunities, and we facilitate them in terms of opportunities, because we do get a lot of business requests. For example, Mampu, Malaysian Airports, Petronas. So whatever opportunities yang ada, we will channel to our strategic partners. Okay. Next, please. Ini yang macam cakap tadi tu lah, mandatory requirement, you must be a Sdn Berhad company. There is some documentation, there are some form that needs to be filled up. Understandable because Cybersecurity Malaysia ni, we are ISO 27001, ISMS registered, so everything has got to be formalized. We will need your bank statements, financial statements, and of course form 9, 11, 24, 44, and 99, and of course as well as the your M&A. Okay. More details at our website, ccp.cybersecurity.my. Okay. Next, please. As I said, these are our testimonies. Our partners that are happy that of the CCP program and of the opportunities that we have given to them. Okay, Natalie Cage, Cloud HR Services, and public listed company ni Securemetric, Edward Lau. Ni semua kawan-kawan lah. Lagi, next slide please. Some of the activities that we have had. Some of these pictures are in the hall kat bawah ni, in my office kat Menara Cyber Axis. Some of the events were conducted in nearby dekat hotel-hotel yang dalam KL ni lah. So unfortunately over the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, some of these activities we have to reduce a little bit. But we were still active online, and no matter what, I think we have conducted as well a few activities 2020 and 2021, and hopefully this year we can go full blast lah. We can do many more. Kalau sebelum pandemic tu, on an average sebulan satu event kita buat dengan partners kita. But during pandemic, I think in 2020 kita dapat buat dalam 3 atau 4 sahaja. So but hopefully for this year we have started, like I explained tadi, yesterday we had our industry dialogue, and we are looking forward for engagement with our partners, and again we would like to conduct this marketing, promotion, business matching, meeting up with our partners on monthly ataupun weekly basis lah. Sebab alhamdulillah ramai yang kat luar that need our assistance, and I think we can help them, insyaAllah. Okay. Next slide please. So this is our flagship event, macam I mentioned tadi tu, Cybersecurity Malaysia Awards Conference and Exhibition, ataupun kita panggil CSMAs, is a public-private platform. Taklah sebesar DSA 30-40 ribu orang, tapi bolehlah, I think between 3,000 to 5,000 people. One thing that we are happy is that it is something that our partners are always looking forward to, because there is always this part where kita ada gala dinner, and in the gala dinner kita ada awards, and these awards are to recognize our industry partners that have contributed. Our awards ni bukan macam Olympic bukannya gold, silver medal, tapi kita recognize partners kita that has contributed. For example, the cybersecurity professional of the year, who are the individuals that have done well, that has contributed to the industry. Cybersecurity company of the year, cybersecurity project of the year. So benda ni semua bukannya satu pemenang. Kadang-kadang dalam satu sektor tu ada 3 ataupun 4 recipient. Okay. And on top of that, of course, we have our conference, we have our sector specific seminar and workshops, and the latest edition sekarang ni is our job fair lah. Alright. Lagi? I think as I have explained tadi tu, our conference objective ni is to provide a platform for industry development. We are looking into inculcating this culture of cybersecurity and awareness. And very, very important, we want to create awareness for our small and medium enterprises that they must protect against cyber threats. And of course, this is for innovation and the growth of our industry. Lastly, memanglah, I mean, when you have 2,000-3,000 people coming, there will always be the networking and friendship. In fact, even yesterday pun, dalam 30-40 orang, some of the new guys yang joined us, they said, Cik Anwar, this is a fantastic networking. And we met a lot of new friends, new people, and new areas to develop together. Okay. And basically, these are the things that we drive for. This is our passion lah. Boleh tengok gambar, next slide please. Ini gambar-gambar dia lah, events and activities that we've been doing over the last many years. Alright. Next please. Okay, ni cyber clinic. Tadi ada explain dah. Cyber clinic ni kita buat data recovery, kita buat data sanitization. I'm proud to say my engineers are among the best in the country. And on top of that, kita collaborate dengan our Korean partners as well. Next please. Some of our cyber clinic activities, we do training, we do data recovery, and also we do awareness. One of the key things that we did was masa, I think, Manji Besar tahun 2014 ke 15, tak ingat. So we went down to Pahang, Kelantan, Terengganu, and kita buat data recovery. Ada yang cikgu-cikgu yang hadis dia masuk air, ada penghulu kampung ni hadis dia masuk lumpur. So we did the data recovery for them. Okay, seterusnya is on the health check. This one ni tadi I dah explain. This is a health check for our Malaysian SMEs, and this is also part of our RMK12 punya project lah. So tahun ni insyaAllah we are looking into conducting health check untuk 80 Malaysian SMEs. Okay. I don't think I need to go more detail into this. Faham aja lah kalau health check tu kena buat risk assessment, kena buat malware scanning, kena buat pen test. Alright, so next slide please. I think we go straight to the next slide. Tak apalah yang ni, this one ni. Okay, next. Next. Tak apa, next please. Alright, so as explained by my colleague tadi, Cik Ahmadi, why we need to collaborate. Okay, this is an ecosystem. Cybersecurity ni is not silo. I think when you look at cybersecurity and smart city, we need to work together. Companies need to understand what are the vulnerabilities in the products that they are using, and where the resources are. I mean, they need to get where the experts are. For example, Cik Ahmadi, myself ni more on a contact person lah. Ini banyak kata orang cerita-cerita pandai lah kan, nak jawab-jawab soalan tu pandai-pandai lah goreng kan. Tapi the technical expertise are in my friend Cik Ahmadi and many others in CSM. Okay, I guess the key thing to remember is all about collaboration. Collaboration is the key for smart or even smarter cities. Okay, and yang lain-lain tu cerita-cerita biasalah. Next please. I guess this is where we come from and how we can work together. Next slide, yeah. So please leverage us, call us, use us, because we are a government agency and we are here to help you. You can look at us as a combination of bomba sikit, hospital sikit lah. Kalau ada api tu kita tolong padamkan, kalau ada orang yang sakit tu kita tolong bagi ubat. Kita diagnose. Okay, so this is where we come from, and we look forward for collaboration, insyaAllah, with My Digital ataupun any other initiatives lah. Alright, so that is my presentation. Kalau ada soalan apa-apa, more than happy to take questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anwar.
Thank you. I'm on time kan?
Okay, so the key is the collaboration. Okay, we have a few questions in the chat box. Either Mr. Anwar or Mr. Hamadi can respond to that. Okay, the first question is from Ms. Shilan. The question is there any plan for transforming traditional healthcare in Malaysia to a smart healthcare like USA and other developed countries? Is there any available smart healthcare system in Malaysia?
Oh, I love this question. How do you know the healthcare in US is advanced and developed? How and why are you saying that the healthcare in Malaysia is not developed, it's not advanced?
Maybe we can invite Ms. Shilan to speak.
Yeah.
Ms. Shilan, can you speak? Hi, Ms. Shilan. Hello, Ms. Shilan.
Tak apalah, dia dah malu kot. Anyway, let me answer that lah, okay? With all due respect to Ms. Shilan, okay, I think our healthcare is as advanced, as developed as any other nation, developed nation, okay? And we have to understand kat Malaysia ni kita ada dua the public healthcare and the private healthcare. And the private healthcare is really up to you how much you want to pay. You know, you want the 4-star treatment, you want the 5-star treatment. We have world-class hospitals. For example, Prince, Gleneagles, and so many more. And I think our public healthcare is on par as any other developed or advanced nation. Um, I've studied 6 years in America. I know how their healthcare is. I've been sick there. I had an accident there, and I'm grateful of their healthcare. But I think at the same time, we are not bad. We are pretty good when it comes to healthcare. But I think our conversation here today is not about healthcare. Our conversation here is today on smart cities. So I'll be happy to take this concern on a private basis lah. Okay, let's focus on our topic today, which are smart cities, not healthcare.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. Now we move to the next question from Mr. Jason Ko. Okay, the question is, may I ask what will be the recommended qualification or certification for cybersecurity industry? Okay, that's the question.
Hamadi, kau nak jawab dulu.
Who can take up the question?
Bagi Encik Anwar dulu lah.
Okay. There are no requirements. Okay. Is how good you are. Of course, for cybersecurity, for us in CSM, we look into qualifications. You know, whether your basic Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Engineering degree, your Masters or your PhD. The higher your qualification, the better your prospects of promotion. That is point number one. Point number two, there are a lot of technical certifications out there. For example, Mr. Hamadi himself is a certified ethical hacker from EC Council, but there are hundreds more certification, either from EC Council, from ISACA, from SANS Institute, from ISC Squared, plus what I have explained tadi tu, CSM punya Global ACE certification. Where I am excited to talk about our certification Global ACE scheme is because upon your training, upon you take your exam, there is a path for you to get TS. So you can become a technologist. And this is recognized under Malaysian Board of Technologies. So there are a lot of requirements if you want to work for someone else. But if it's your passion, it's something that you want to do. I mean, if you want to be a hacker, well, I don't think you should be looking into certification. I think you should be looking into your own competency and capabilities. What are you capable of? So you yourself need to understand what are you good in, not about what certifications out there. What is your strength? What are your areas of competency as well? Hamadi nak tambah ke? Mute lah bang.
Okay. Okay, sorry. To answer that, I think Encik Anwar has answered a lot. But anyway, certifications is actually macam passport lah. It's like your passport. If you are trying to apply for position in a company, it's good to have. In maybe some yang I pernah dengar lah, some companies will treat a certain certification from certain bodies differently. Macam SANS, for example, I would say SANS, if you go out and go kat Malaysia ni, go for interview, if you produce the SANS certificate, they will not recognize it. I mean, they sometimes they don't even know what the certification is. So there are other certification yang diorang dah very familiar. Itu je lah yang one thing that you have to be aware of. Not to say that yang the popular ones are good. SANS are very tough examination. Yeah. I've gone one and it's one heck of a
and also expensive. Tough and expensive. Yeah.
Yes. That will be my answer lah. But the rest has been by Encik Anwar.
Of course, I have partners out there that has a string of certification, you know. Kalau you tengok certification dia, you know, like separuh muka surat. So yeah, I mean, it's really up to you. And macam yang Hamadi mentioned tadi tu, yes, they are not easy, they are tough. My answer will be tough and expensive. Okay, so benda ni I think tepuk dada tanya selera lah. What is your area and what are you looking into your career path? Alright.
Okay, hope the explanation clear for Mr. Jason on the certification. Okay, the next question may be for Mr. Hamadi from Mr. Taufik asking that, is there any SOP for SME to follow on cybersecurity threats developed by Cybersecurity Malaysia?
SOP meaning
SOP for SME.
SME for mana industry lah, for small
Yes.
and medium enterprises. SOP, I will not say SOP in the terms of procedure tu, tapi guidelines we do have for the macam industry 4.0 punya might relate to you. The industry 4.0 guidelines might relate to SMEs. Because the SME maybe they are operating plant ke atau factory ke kan, so it more relevant to you. Kalau untuk kalau macam standard, they should go for the first thing is ISMS lah. That is the most important yang perlu ada before you go for other looking for other punya standards ke ataupun guidelines ataupun procedures ke.
Nak tambah sikit, last year ke 2020? 2020 we came up with about a string of guidelines, 7 if I'm not wrong, on IoT, on cloud security, not specifically untuk SMEs, but these are more on specific sectors lah, like tadi itu cloud and 7 semua kalau I tak silap kan.
Ya, betul. Around 7, yes.
Around 7, yeah. Okay.
Thank you for the explanation. And we have final question from Mr. Muhammad Liman in slide in Sheikh Anwar presentation just now. Slide 51, okay, in your screen. Which attack from the ones listed contributed to the highest figure in 2011, and what are the contributing factors?
Well, over the years, the biggest is always fraud, penipuan. Memang paling banyak penipuan, and unfortunately macam yang I cakap tadi tu, banyak kes-kes yang dia orang tak report sebab satu takut, malu, and then lagi satu kalau report pun bukannya boleh dapat duit balik. It's always fraud. Okay, it's a serious case. Unfortunately ramai lagi orang yang percaya, dia konon-kononnya ada kawan kat Houston, Texas, and then ada pakcik daripada Ukraine lari, ada duit dia nak bagi kat orang, that kind of stuff. So there is a lot of this human nature on tamak, greed, you want to make money, you are lonely and all that stuff. So incidents like Macau scam, fraud, memang paling banyak penipuan lah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I think we can close the Q&A session. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Anwar and Mr. Hamadi, for your fruitful presentation and discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, well, I guess we have come to the end of program. Thank you once again for your time, and we look forward to having you again in our next webinar series. You present here definitely have enriched this session. Wish you all of you a pleasant day. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you.